Hey guys, so welcome back to yet another episode of Get Corporate Ready. This is the platform where we deep dive into secrets of confidence building, career navigation, and also turning your career dreams into reality. So guys, I wonder how many of you answer the question, what is your strength? By saying words such as, I'm a hard worker, I'm a team player. Guys, that's not how you answer the question. So in this video today, we are going to be tackling how you go about answering the commonly asked interview question around what is your strengths and what is your development areas. So stick with me in this video as we deep dive into why we ask this question and what are some of the secrets and tips that I can give you around answering this in a way that makes you stand out. Now guys, most interviewers, when we ask this question, the number one thing we're really trying to see out of this is whether you're the kind of person that is self-aware. Now, what do I mean by self-aware? I mean, are you the kind of person that can be honest enough about where your development areas? Are you someone that actually knows what it is that you are strong at doing, right? What is your skill set? What strength do you bring to the table? And strength doesn't necessarily need to be something that's technical, right? It can be a characteristic trait. It can be the fact that you're a great communicator, that you're engaging, that you're a natural leader, right? Those are some of the things that you could outline as your strengths. But a lot of people can very easily tell me what their strengths are, but they then struggle when we ask them about what their weaknesses are, right? And you need to be self-aware enough to understand these are the things that I know I need to sharpen on this skill. I need to get better at that skill. Now, as I always say, in all the interview preparation that you need to do, guys, this is a key question that you need to think about before your interview. As you're preparing for your interview, ask yourself the question, what am I really good at? What can I do in my sleep? What do people compliment me about, right? Think about those things because that's how you're going to start ironing out what your key strengths are. Then ask yourself as well, what are the things that people complain about? Or what are the types of characteristics that people don't really like about me, right? Ask yourself that and get honest with yourself, right? Because these are the things that are going to be important for you to outline. Now, one very, very important tip. As you're preparing, go through your job spec. I've said this many a times in my videos, right? Go through your job spec because if you can start identifying certain strengths that you have that correlate with your job spec, that's how you know which strengths you end up talking about, right? Because at the end of the day, as you are talking through your strengths, let it be the types of strengths that are mentioned as requirements for the role that you are going into, because that then helps you really set yourself up above the rest of the candidates. And that is why, guys, it's so important not to use generic words like hardworking, team player. Anyone can say that. The point of interviews is learning how to distinguish yourself, learning how to make sure that you are setting yourself apart from other people that are interviewing for exactly the same role, for exactly the same company. So make sure that it's unique, it's authentic. But if you can correlate it to particular strengths required for the role, then you're winning. The second thing that's important as you are going through your strengths or development areas, try not to list too many strengths, right? The aim of answering this question is not for you to go through 6 different strengths that you have and maybe one development area or weakness. The aim is for you to pick 3 top strengths that you know, like I said, correlate with the role that you're applying for, and then be able to give some evidence around it. Now, what do I mean by this? Giving evidence means that if you say that you are someone that is really great at speaking in public or public speaking, right? And that is something that you list as your strength. Be able to speak about, during school, I was on the debating team. This is how I've done public speaking. So be able to actually give evidence to some of the strengths that you're speaking about. So it's not just a matter of listing it, because remember, once again, we've seen your CV. In your CV is going to be a category where you've listed your strengths. We've seen them listed, but we have it in front of us for you to take us through what your core strengths are and why you say those are your core strengths. So it's so important, firstly, not to be vague. Secondly, like I'm saying right now, don't list too many. Focus on 2 to 3 core strengths and maybe 2 development areas. But also, as you speak about strengths, What is the evidence behind it? Why do you say that this is a strength? But as you speak about your development area or your weakness, you need to be able to end that off by telling me what it is you're currently doing to work on that weakness. So it's no good to tell me I'm someone that's really impatient with people, right? And therefore I don't delegate work and I keep work all to myself. If you know that's a weakness and development area of yours, how are you working on that particular development area, right? So if you're going to say that I'm impatient, but what I've started doing is A, B, C, D, that's how you then start speaking and ending off what your development area actually is. So that's really important. The third thing that I think is also important, guys, make sure that you're tailoring your answer to the role that you're applying for. There's no point giving me strengths and development areas that you know are non-related at all with the job that you are applying for, right? So make sure, like I said, that as you go through this, you've gone through the job spec, you're correlating your strengths, but as you speak through weaknesses, make sure that you're not mentioning a weakness that is an actual strength of the role. So if the role says that you need to be someone that leads a team, and now when are you going to say that your weakness is, being a team player or interacting with people? You like being on your own, you like doing things on your own, but the role requires you to be a leader. The role requires you to have people that you are leading, right? So it's important for you to make sure that you're tailoring your strengths to the job requirement and make sure that you are not making it less relevant by mentioning a weakness or development area that's actually a strength of the role. The fourth thing that I think is so important as you're articulating your answer for this particular question, guys, don't be overconfident, right? I've met a lot of people that come in and say, I am the best at everything that I do. I'm great and exceptional at absolutely everything. And I don't have actually any weaknesses, right? I've met people that say that. And that's not the way that you want to come around in your interview. It's so important that you ensure that you are thoughtful around how you respond to this and that you ensure that you've actually given it some thought, right? Coming across overconfident really just can borderline on coming across arrogant, right? And people that are arrogant for corporates are generally seen as people that are hard to work with, right? Because it means that person, you can't give them any constructive criticism. It means that you can't tell them, no, actually you are wrong in this. I think you need to brush up on that, because they think they're exceptional at everything. So make sure that you're not coming across overconfident as you're articulating your strengths, and make sure that you never answer it by saying, I don't have any weaknesses. All of us guys have something that we are working on, whether it be in our personal life, in our professional life, skill sets, characteristics. Make sure you've given it some thought and that you come up with something that actually describes who you are, what you're working on, and gives us a better sense of you holistically. And lastly, guys, learn not to be too modest, right? It's so important that even as you come up and speak about your strengths or your achievements, give it the strength that it's due, right? Make sure that as you're articulating your strengths, you're really going in there and giving us the things that you know are core to who you are. When you come across too modest, you're not really giving us a good sense of what you can do and what your capabilities are. But there's a borderline, right? So it's about not being overly confident in how you articulate your strengths, but don't be too modest either, right? If you know that you have won exceptional achievements in a particular skill, or that you've demonstrated particular strengths in particular platforms and institutions, and you've won awards for it, be able to say that, right? But how you're going to balance it out is also being mindful and being self-aware enough to say, yes, I'm great at all of these things, but I do know that these are some of the areas that I do need to work on. This is how I'm going about working on it, right? So make sure you're keeping a very professional tone as you're going through it, and make sure that you're bringing yourself and you're being authentic as you answer any particular question that is asked of you. Okay, guys, so I'm going to use a bit of this segment to really just go through some key strengths and development areas that you could be thinking about as you're preparing for your interview. I'm not giving you this as a solution. I'm giving you this to really just give you an example of what key strengths you need to be thinking about, right? Like I said in the beginning, don't use generic words like hardworking and team player. I'm going to give you a list of strengths, a list of some development areas, but make sure, as I've said, it's evidence-based. So whatever you end up picking, even if it's on this list, make sure that it's evidence-based and you've got something to back up whether that is a strength. And from a development perspective, that you know exactly how you're working on improving that. So this is a list of strengths that I think are great for you to really be thinking about in answering the question, what are your key strengths? Entrepreneurial, detail-orientated, right? Collaborative instead of using team player. Someone that can be creative. Being a problem solver is a great strength to be listing. Being someone that is flexible or that has organizational skills. Leadership capability. Strong communicator. Expert level at a particular skill. So this is where you're speaking about particular technical skills that are required for the role. Honesty. And lastly, persistence and resilience. Guys, those are just some of the types of strengths that you could be listing. And these are important. I've given you these strengths because these are things that are core to what you need in any corporate environment. So make sure that if any of these resonate with you, use them and have the evidence to back it. Now, a list of some development areas or weaknesses that I think are important for you to be thinking about. If you are feeling stuck, like you don't have any weaknesses, listen to some of these and maybe pick one or two of them that resonate with you. Self-critical, right? Someone that's too hard on themselves. Prone to procrastination. Public speaking. So this is a fear of public speaking. Someone that struggles to delegate. Someone that is risk averse. Someone that is sensitive or overly emotional, right? Someone that has either extreme introversion or extroversion. Sometimes that can be a weakness, right? And also if you're someone that has limited experience in a particular skill that is required for the role, right? So also on a weakness perspective, it could be technical and it could be personality driven as well. So guys, I hope that this was really, really helpful for you in understanding how to unpack and how to answer the question, what are your key strengths and weaknesses?